This is Pickering, Ontario. Just a 15-minute drive north of the urban center, you may find the ruins of a modest farm community that both flourished and collapsed in the early 19th century. Howell's Hollow. Purchased in 1832 by Henry Howell, the heart of the settlement was a sprawling farmstead, complete with a rustic mill powered by the stream cutting through the property. A post office, a brewery, and a handful of humble cottages formed a close-knit hamlet, 12 dedicated households, bound by toil and kinship. However, in the winter of 1846, the community descended into chaos, forced to endure disaster in 3 parts. First, a terrible fire that destroyed several buildings, followed by weeks of record-setting snowfall, and then, worst of all, an outbreak of mass hysteria. In the span of 4 months, the population of Howell's Hollow dropped from 35 to a mere 17, most of the survivors being children. The culprit? St. Anthony's Fire, a phenomenon that manifests in grotesque hallucinations and agonizing physical torment, sometimes afflicting entire cities at a time. It appears semi-regularly in history as a devastating force of nature, and proved to be the final nail in the coffin for Howell's Hollow. Angelica Scoville, a young woman at the time who survived the crisis, recounted that her family and neighbors had succumbed to madness seemingly overnight, ushering in weeks of violence and unspeakable horror. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the plague ended. A now traumatized community returned to its senses long after the damage was done. According to census records, Henry Howell and his eldest son Nicholas were all that remained of their family. Their wives and daughters had fallen during the winter's darkest days, along with over half of the community. The late historian Michael J. Meadows suspects that the bountiful grain harvests of the previous year were tainted by a fungus known as ergot, a potent, mind-altering substance with a bad reputation for driving entire towns to lunacy. The mill, once a symbol of prosperity, sealed the hollow's fate as tainted rye was ground to flour and stored for the winter. By 1851, the once vibrant hamlet was reduced to a ghost town, home only to the elder Howell. Now all that remains is a cattle barn and a single barnhouse wall, along with ancient equipment and the foundations of other cottages. In the mid-1900s, a cairn was erected where the post office once stood. But if it's still there, it's long since been reclaimed by nature. To this day, hikers passing through the ruins claim to hear whispers and wails throughout the hillsides. Some believe they come from the disembodied spirits of the villagers, forever haunting these parts. Could it be the echoes of a settlement that once upon a time lost its mind and tore itself asunder? Only time will tell.